Hey there, compliance officers and administrators. I'm in our accounting department today to explain why, more than any department in your organization, workplace compliance needs a system. You might be interested to know that I started my career as an accountant. While still at university, I used to work summers for an accounting firm called Peat Marwick, the PM in what is now KPMG. I know this is hard to fathom now, but when I worked there, my desk did not have a computer. There were a few computer workstations on each floor, and I remember we could sign out a Toshiba T2000 laptop if we were going off-site, but I never did. So if not on computers, how did accounting get done? Well, with these multi-column ledgers. Bookkeepers would record a debit in one ledger and a credit in another. Once a year, a team of us auditors would show up, not with computers, but with calculators. I still have my cherished Sharp CS1130 they gave me on my first day. You can barely make it out now, but they actually wrote your name in permanent ink on the calculator when you joined the firm. Because accounting was handwritten in ledgers, errors were rampant, and nothing was linked. There was no drilling down on numbers or pulling up documents on screens. I spent most of my time on audits in the client's file room, which were massive with rows of cabinets, and I'd pull out invoices and put a green tick mark if the number matched the number on a different ledger. We used the calculator to add up the ledger and ensure it balanced with the financial statements. Imagine if today bookkeepers were still writing numbers in ledger booklets and auditors were showing up with calculators. It's preposterous. Why? Because in the 1990s, guys like me made a great deal of money implementing software programs to replace these ledgers. Back in the day, accounting software was pricey. We used to sell and implement a software package called ACPAC, which stood for a complete and comprehensive program for accounting control. We would charge by the module, $2,500 for payables, $2,500 for receivables, inventory, payroll, purchase orders, sales tax, intercompany, multi-currency, and then of course general ledger. And don't forget reporting. It probably came to a total of $50,000, which today is more like $98,700.
$1 million.
And that didn't include implementation or support or annual updates. So why did every company in the world switch over to computerized accounting systems, even though they were extraordinarily expensive? Because it was a much, much better way of doing accounting. Using an accounting system improved efficiency, reduced training needs, and eliminated errors. The return on investment of implementing an accounting system was massive. So why did I tell you that story? So I could tell you this one. Many years later, I had worked my way up to the position of Chief Information Officer at a large public company. The information revolution was in full swing. PCs were on every desk, and they were connected to the networks, not just inside the businesses, but to the rest of the world through the internet. And my job pretty much came down to purchasing and implementing business systems. The accounting department was looking to move to SAP, the marketing department was trying to figure out Adobe PageMaker, and the sales manager wanted to move them to this new online software as a service called Salesforce.com. Every department either had a system or was implementing a system. And so wouldn't you know it, the safety manager shows up at my office and proclaims that he too needs a system. I tried to push him off. We'd been growing like crazy and needed to upgrade our accounting system for the third time in 5 years. Could safety not wait? Could safety not wait? He explained that like accounting, his department was also regularly audited. But unlike accounting, safety affected every employee in the company. He showed me that safety had more forms, paperwork, and reporting than accounting did. They had more exposure to legal liability. The consequences of a lack of oversight could be a matter of life or death. And I was dumbfounded by what he said next. Due to missing data, his insight was limited, but he thought compliance was maybe 30%. We were drilling high-pressure wells, dealing with sour gas. Workers were climbing up derricks that were like 70 feet tall, and they were only doing a third of their safety requirements. So like any great CIO, I started doing some research. Why was compliance and safety so difficult? Well, I found the answer in this book. First Things First by Stephen Covey. He said, your systems are perfectly designed to get the results that you're getting. In other words, if your compliance is not where you expect it to be, your lousy systems, or more accurately, your lack of systems, are to blame. Covey explains that everything we choose to do or neglect to do can be plotted in a matrix. We can spend our time on important or not important activities that can also be classified as either urgent or not urgent. He numbered each quadrant in his time management matrix, 1, 2, 3, and 4. In quadrant 1, demands of our time are both important and urgent, like crises and deadline-driven projects. We need to deal with these things, so they take priority. In workplace compliance, these would be events like accidents, injuries, spills, complaints, investigations, and lawsuits. In quadrant 3, there are interruptions like phone calls, meetings, and emails. They're right in our faces, and they're usually pretty quick to do, so we tend to get those done. And then next to that, in quadrant 4, are escape activities. They're neither important nor urgent, but because we're so burnt out from all the stresses in quadrant 1 and quadrant 3, for mental health reasons, we need to chill, decompress, and recharge. So we tend to spend most of our spare time here. That leaves poor quadrant 2. These projects are important, often more important even than quadrant 1. Because if we did these things, the productivity draining crises in quadrant 1 wouldn't happen in the first place. These are all the proactive measures we should be taking, like preparation, prevention, planning, but they're not urgent. So organizations and their workers rarely spend enough time here. It's why training is incomplete. It's why policies are missing. It's why compliance is low. And it's how workplaces end up having incidents. So this brings me back to the topic of this video, why workplace compliance needs a system. There are countless definitions for the word system, but the one I like best is an organized scheme or method to perform a duty or solve a problem. So referring back to Covey's time management matrix, the problem businesses have is that the activities that ensure compliance are in the wrong quadrant. And so we need a scheme or method to move these duties to different quadrants, like adding deadlines or interrupting folks with reminder emails and text messages, or making the little things that build compliance so fast and easy that they become the escape from the other everyday grinds. And so that's why we got into this business and built our software. It does more than just safety now. So every compliance requirement at your workplace will probably improve if you implemented a software system like Workhub.
This is the office of a Nagasaki-based food wholesaler. One worker here, Asuka Kamimura, is a calculator whiz. Away from the workplace, Kamimura takes part in calculator speed contests. They have been using calculators for 16 years. Just look at those fingers move.